Gruesome Magazine.
Hello once again, I'm your host, Doc Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies and occasionally a TV show. Each week, my co-hosts Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, Christopher G. Mohr, and myself will take a look at very spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we're reviewing Slasher, Ripper, episodes 7 and 8, streaming now on SHUDDER. Wrapping up the season, we're giving all of it away, so go watch it. Go watch it. All right, before we get into things, let me introduce the crew, starting off with the one and only Jeff Mohr. Jeff, how you doing, sir?
I'm great. I'm fired up to talk about the end of this season.
That. Fired up.
Fire it up.
Yeah,
Fire it up.
I removed my electrodes before. Yeah.
All right. Also joining this week is the living dead girl, Crystal Cleveland. How you doing?
I'm great. I totally agree. I'm excited to talk about this. I think this ended. I think this, the crow. Fire it up. Fire it up. I got it. I mean, that's why I did it with you. But I think this ended appropriately. Totally. Yeah.
I like that.
Excited. Mm-hmm.
I would too. We are excited. We're going to be doing both episodes as one. We're going to start off giving you our first impressions of this. Those first impressions, we will try to steer away from spoilers. Then we're going to get into a discussion, and we'll stop and say spoilers, because we're going to get into spoilers because this is a whodunit, and spoilers are part of it. Then we'll wrap things up with our score and what we thought of the series season as a whole. And then our favorite scene or scenes. If you want to pick one from each, you are welcome to do so. All right. Before we get into the card, let's just share that we are celebrating 10 years of H&R, Gruesome Magazine, and Decades of Horror. It began 10 years ago when Dave Dreher, Thomas Mariani, and Santos Ellen Jr., the Black Saint, and I first got together and reviewed Evil Dead in April of that year, 2013, and which was been doing ever since in various forms of the group. The celebrations began this year with the review of Evil Dead Rise. Yay! Yay. That's great how that worked out. And it will celebrate all year long, ending in February of 2024 with our inaugural Grue-Crews.
The Grue. Okay, come on, Jeff. You got to sing it. The Grue-Crew.
Yeah.
Crickets.
Soon.
Not all here.
We need Christopher here to do it because without him, it's 3 nights of horror and fun in the sun from February 23rd to the 26th out of Port Canaveral, Florida, on the Royal Caribbean, the Lure of the Seas. So check out the link below if you're interested in coming along with us. Woo-hoo.
Oh God, we were actually gonna do our reservations tonight, and then we're like stressing with Mason. We're like, do you really want to come? He keeps saying yes, and I'm like, do you really want to come?
You're trying to get me to say no.
You better know for sure. I don't mind, but I'm like, if you're gonna say yes, you better know for sure. You better know 100%, because.
Yep. All right, let's get into the card. Slasher Ripper 2023 on SHUDDER. Episode 7 was called Divine Secrets. Episode 8 is called Vengeance. It is streaming now on SHUDDER. The synopsis for these two episodes are, with Kenneth's list of suspects either jailed or buried, he sets his sights on the sly magician, George, who is slowly losing his grip on reality. A final bloody performance of George's exposes the widow's hand and guts. With the widow final victim nearly in her clutches, Kenneth's time is running out. However, upon revealing the killer's identity, he grapples with how to bring justice to the victims. It's directed by Anna McDonald, written by Lucy Page. The cast includes Eric McCormick, Tom Allison, Gabriel Darku, Lisa Berry, Paula Brancati, Sadie LaFlamme Snow, and Claire McConnell, among others. Let's find out what we thought. Crystal, what was your first impression of episodes 7 and 8?
Oh, I loved 7 and 8. Well, okay. So I will say I feel like these 2 episodes could have actually been 3, I think. Because there's some stuff that could have been expanded on. Like, I can't get into that because that's spoiler territory. But I do think that it could have even made a 3rd episode with just some extended scenes. And I would have really liked the extended scenes because some of it would have... I can't talk about it. But I did, I think you probably get it, Jeff, right? Yeah, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about.
I think so.
Yeah. There's a few scenes, a few different parts where I was like, man, I that's what we got. We needed more. But I did learn some new verbiage, spinster platoon. That's a new one for me. I've never heard that before in my entire life. And now I'm going to use it. No, I'm just kidding.
Spinster's platoon.
Spinster
Yep.
platoon. Yeah, is that a thing?
Spittoon? A spinster's spittoon?
Spinster platoon.
I never heard
That's
it
what
before.
she called.
I thought it was a
Yeah.
spittoon.
No, platoon.
No,
What do you
Right?
think, Jeff?
I'm looking it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're looking it up.
Okay, sorry, I gotta know because I was like, what?
I think she made that up.
I know
Yeah.
what spittoon is,
Well, yeah.
but is it?
I don't know what a pittoon is. What is your first impressions of Slasher Ripper episode 7 and 8, Jeff Mohr? And how many times did you watch them?
I liked it.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
how many times did I watch them? Twice, I think.
Oh, that's not bad.
Okay. Because they accidentally gave me all the episodes, and I binged them all before they pulled them back. And I think I did a good job of not giving anything away.
Yeah, because we were making guesses out there, and you kept a straight face. I want to
So
congratulate you.
I liked how it turned out. I think you can see, going back and looking at the events of the first 6 episodes, you see where this was going. Although it wasn't like in your face, that this was the kind of the dichotomy that was going on. Yeah, I know. I just enjoyed it. And I'm going to spoil something here. Basil Garvey just gets pissier and pissier.
He sure
through
does.
these shows. Oh my God. He is spewing venom in these 2 episodes. So, and I loved a few of the little twists in there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
I
a
liked
twist.
it.
It's a whodunit. There's twists. Yes.
Yes,
The
there is.
nature of the business. I had a great time with these 2 episodes, even though a very strong element that I wanted to be a part of it did not make it into it, and we'll talk about it here shortly.
This is why we just need to get into spoilers.
Yeah, we gotta get into it. But I
ready.
was incredibly satisfied with the finale.
Yeah.
It totally made my day. I like every bit of it. Yeah, I'm just going to say that this is probably my favorite of the seasons that I've seen of Slasher.
For sure.
And I really enjoyed it, and congratulate them on keeping it fresh and fun. And I'm now let's do the next one.
Yeah.
I
I really hope they make another one.
Yes.
They better.
Let's get into the spoilers. If you're watching this now, please watch this series and then listen to this, because we're going to give away the actual finale here and who did it and all that stuff. So don't listen to this if you're planning on watching it and you haven't seen it yet. Please come back and catch us later. All right. So
George didn't get the death he deserved. That's what I was talking about.
Yep,
I was like, that whole scene, even the flashback could have been more, and his death could have been more. That whole thing could have been drawn out, and it would have been awesome. And there's some other ones, but like that for sure. I was like, wait, what?
But his line was fantastic.
I deserve it. Yeah.
I deserve this. And that made it.
Well, the part I thought you were talking about was how everybody at the end,
how they came together,
the way it ends, that we get 3 or 4 people that just join in that were not part of that.
That is
they're part of the plot. I just thought there could have been some connecting scene there.
Show them recruiting. Show them getting recruited. I'm total, and that was part of it too. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think both of these could have been 3, because that, and then the extended George scene, and then there was something else I thought about too.
Kenneth's inquisition of those characters did tie them together. But
tie who together?
The three people you're talking about.
Like how? What do you mean?
Well, through Eric, right? Through Eric's character, through
yeah, but that still doesn't explain like how.
Well,
that doesn't give you enough.
The cleric does, because he knows, and he reveals he knows, but he won't say anything. And the lady kind of does too, though not as explicit.
Verdi?
The one lady that gets punched in the face.
Oh, Gladys.
Yeah.
Now,
but also his Verdi is still the outsider. It doesn't make.
But Verdi's showing up.
Yes, she has a reason, but that's irrelevant. I'm totally with Jeff that it would have been awesome, even if you saw them come together, to like have flashbacks of like maybe the maid. But why? How did the maid get recruited in on this? And let's be real. Okay, the widow. See, I said I thought it could be the widow, the actual widow, and it was, but she was married to this dude for like 10 years, and she waited.
Well, she was waiting for proof, and
how long was she married to him?
No, I don't think she was married. No.
No, there's no way, because
right. But he finally did. She said he finally revealed the truth, and that's when she started.
So she didn't know?
She knew, but she was waiting for proof.
She knew some of it, but she didn't know what everybody else did behind scenes.
And here's what, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. How, like, he told her everything? Because he did? Okay, so that's how she knows everything.
That's what she said. He told me everything, finally.
Yep.
Okay,
in
that's good.
Detail, and he was, he loved telling her about it.
Okay.
I don't remember.
And
that makes sense with this character.
And I like the reveal of, how it ended on the 7th one when they reveal it subtly. And if you don't pay attention, you don't catch it.
The widow
is the widow. Yeah, with the bruise.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, this is the first time with the widow fighting that you knew it was a female because of the sounds. But technically, I guess it didn't have to be. It could have been the pastor, too. We don't know when he was brought on, technically. I mean, see, that's what I'm saying. There's so much that could have been wrapped up a little bit nicer for us. So that I would actually have been interested to know who killed who. I would actually have really liked to know, like, have flashbacks as to like who actually did.
Was it always her? Did the other one help out?
So that could have, that's what I'm saying. It could have been you could have had a whole 3rd episode.
That would have been interesting to see, that each one they all shared.
Basil, I'm missing something. Basil actually killed Margaret.
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about which one's the widow. Who was in the widow costume?
Was it always
every time?
Yeah, was it always Regina, or did the others share in the?
Yeah, well, that's something.
That's a good point. Although what I got was there you go. Maybe that's why they didn't show that stuff, because I wanted a little bit of tie-in from these other people crossing the line from how much. They're being treated as being marginalized because of their status in life.
They all are,
especially by people, right? And that was the whole conflict throughout the show. Was even with people that used to be in that had moved up, and now were like Salome, who were now lording it over the lower class. Anyway, how those all kind of banded together to perform that act at the end, that there had to be some sort of connecting to where they all knew. Did they all just show up for the wedding and this fight was going on, so they joined in?
Well, they technically would have been shown up for the wedding, because she was going to be there. The other guy was going to
Gladys
one was going to be married, the other one was going to do the
I also would have liked to have known who dug the body up. I want to know who did it.
Yes, I love that part. Yep.
Who did what?
Who dug up the body?
Oh. Well, I guess I assume that was Regina, but
maybe because I mean, Verdi is the one that put it, that had it in her wedding dress.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's what I'm saying. You don't know. I would. There could have been a full episode, and it would have.
Could have been a big conspiracy. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been really
awesome.
awesome.
Except Kenneth. I love that Riker's joined in. That made
but
me
we
so
saw how Kenneth got recruited. Essentially, yeah. We saw how he got roped. He came to this side.
Justice before vengeance, and she said sometimes vengeance is the only justice you can get. And when he finally had that confrontation in the jail, where the cops put him in jail, he realized there was never going to be justice.
The wall. Yep, he was against the wall. But I love that he made that decision and participated. That was so.
Yeah, me too.
So. Now the only so what I was referring to earlier, the element that I wish was more a part of it was a supernatural element, and it turned out to all be fake. I really wanted to be.
They have never had. This is why I said I thought she was faking it, because never in all the seasons of Slasher has there been anything supernatural. So why change now?
Well, I don't know. Just a sprinkle.
I know. No. I love supernatural, and I prefer supernatural. However, once you start a pattern, I feel like it's appropriate to stick with it. It's cool how they dropped it and made us feel like it was. Mm-hmm. But I know supernatural. Supernatural is my favorite. Yeah,
me too. I was satisfied with the reveal and the explanation that she was making it. The way she just used it as an empowering moment over top of. I guess she never died, right? Or did they kill her? Did they kill her?
No.
Who's that?
She's in jail, right?
Yeah, she's in jail.
Viviana. Yeah, she was going to kill her, and then she goes, nah. I'm going to let you rot.
So, but let me tell you,
experience this lower class life the rest of your.
The other sister wasn't there, but yet she got murked. But I know that was because of Birdie. I know Birdie. Yeah. I know that was because of her, but it's like, holy moly!
Wasn't that a great moment too that she did that though?
She's like, no, I want to watch.
And even though it was
he
so
should have been afraid.
Even though it was so obvious what was going to happen, it was so much fun. Mm-hmm. Oh, you what? Who should have been fake? Basil. Yeah. No, that tickled his fancy, man.
He should have been afraid though, because up to this point, he should have realized he was being fooled. At that point,
his ego is too big for that.
Let me tell you what's ridiculous about this. All she had to say to George was, I'm not in the trap. I'm not in. It's locked. I'm not in. And yet, was she too stupid? Like, I almost feel like she kind of deserved it. Because I'm like, you've rehearsed it so many times. You know you're not in that section. Wouldn't you just say, I'm not in that section? Something's wrong. Stop this before,
we call that
plot armor. I'm not in the
yeah. Well, I can see where she's frantically trying, and she doesn't want to blurt it out and give the trick away in front of everybody. And then
when he starts cutting,
and when he encourages to make more noise, so when she really does start saying stop,
that part I get.
Yeah.
That part I get. But once he starts using the little come on.
Yeah.
It's a little far-fetched, but I'm okay with it.
Oh, well, now, what I was going to say too about about Verdi was that that was a huge reveal in her character, because up until then she was portraying this meek,
mousy kind of girl,
uneducated.
But if you noticed, if you noticed, every time Basil came, she always kind of looked off and knew that her sister was listening. If you kind of watch her as and I was like, I could tell she was manipulative at that point. So what was interesting is she did say she was born in the call, and the widow, not, the dude's wife, whatever her name is. What's her name? I can't remember her name.
Regina?
She said Regina said she was born in the call. So that's why I thought either one of them could, I didn't think Regina was it, but
I thought she was being possessed, but she's not. Yeah, different.
But that could have been cool.
That could have been very cool. Mm-hmm. Could have been cool because she could have animated the dead body. That would have been awesome.
Oh, she had George. She had George fooled completely, and boy, was he frantic trying to dig that grave up.
Oh, that was a great scene. Then he screams, "No!" What are these? Okay, so let's talk about Eric McCormick and George, which is Tom Allison. They stole this show.
It's absolutely.
Their show. They are
so George, there was one shot of George, and now the episodes are kind of running together, 7 and 8. Mm-hmm. It was in 7 or 8 where it's just George. Oh, it's when he's having the dream about his lover, and it was just his face, and I was like, he is beautiful. Like his face, it was just like his face. I was like, oh my god, he's gorgeous. Like he's so pretty. Really he's so handsome. So yeah, when I still just his death was just not enough.
he has that dream at the beginning of episode 7 where he's dreaming about him and Terrence sort of frolicking around, and then they're in bed, and then Terrence's head spins around and becomes Margaret.
Yes.
And then hands grab him from behind, and then he wakes up.
And so I'm confused because he strangled her, and then she woke up, and then did he actually kill her?
I thought Basil killed her in front of the police inspector.
Yeah, the latter. I don't know why he was dreaming that he did it, because later in 8 they said Basil did it. So.
Well, I wonder if that was part of his process, because remember he was trying to get her to forget something. So maybe he was strangling her and then trying to hypnotize her at the same time, to try to wipe those memories. And he said she might die,
I thought he was trying to. That's a good point, because at the time when I watched it, I thought he was trying to learn more about the experience of death, taking her to the brink, and then, we never saw him question her, but he waits till she wakes up, and then he starts to strangle her again, and then what is she begging Basil to let her go, and her daughter shouldn't grow up without a mother, and then he says, well, then you shouldn't have threatened me. I mean, he puts her through all of this just because she threatened him.
Yeah.
She didn't carry anything out. She didn't. Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. I know. Obviously, she didn't deserve what she got, but she wasn't a good person because she was going to blackmail him. That's just the bottom line there.
But also, you talked about Margaret, I think, earlier on, and I think the fact that she had this daughter there in the background that we didn't know about justifies some of what she did.
It does give me more, because I'm like, I can't defend her. Like clearly she didn't deserve any of this. That's ridiculous. Okay. But you're not a good person if you blackmail someone. Now, she did have a daughter, and interestingly enough about the daughter, I'm like, was it Basil's daughter or something too? Like, they didn't say who the father was or anything, but he's like, why would I care? I just wonder if they were alluding to the fact that it could be his daughter. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, we do things for our children that we would never do. So I could see that. But it was clearly a very poor decision on her part.
Yep. One last thing before we wrap up. Christopher, well, he wasn't able to make it for the finale, so I'm going to ask this on his behalf, because I would have asked him. He criticized Gabriel Darkou's performance as Kenneth. I enjoyed it, and I wondered, did he step up at the end in these last 2 episodes? Did he improve and become?
Well, he showed more emotion, for sure. Yeah, like there was one point where he was like, he screamed and was like, but I mean, Christopher's not wrong completely. He is a different type of actor than the others. He's a lot more stoic. So up against the others, because they're playing it over the top, let's be real.
A lot of them are very much over the top. Yeah,
he's not. And so because of that, it doesn't look like he's on the same plane, but I don't think that necessarily speaks to his skill as an actor. I think he made a choice.
He made a choice. Yeah, I enjoyed him quite a bit, and I thought the final
I didn't dislike him.
Actually, did really well. So, and I really bought the relationship between his character and Regina.
Me too.
I thought that he was being sort of. I just thought it was his character. He was being this serious.
Stoic.
He was serious about his job, and so he comes across as kind of flat emotionally. But I just took that as being his character, almost kind of like a dragnet, like Jack Webb or something, just the facts man kind of thing. But
he gets a stretch in the last 2 episodes.
He does,
especially the last one. Well, and I love how they all did the maniac thing at the end. Except for instead of just pulling the head off, they rip it to pieces or something. I'm not really sure what they did, but it was awesome.
Yeah, Basil kills her. He smothers her with his hand over her mouth and nose.
Okay.
While he's looking into her eyes. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was not real obvious, but that's what he did, which is that reminds me of the old 40s film, The Body Snatcher, when Boris Karloff does that to Bela Lugosi.
Yes.
Birkenhaired, I think they called it. I think that's what they called it. They got Birkenhaired or Burked. It was
Burked instead of Merked. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's give our score and favorite scene. If you want to break the scores up, you're welcome to. If you want to pick 2 scenes, you're welcome to. Hey, Crystal, you're up first.
Okay, so I'm gonna give my score to the overall.
Okay.
Like the whole thing. I'll give it like a 4.5.
For the whole show, not just the episodes, but the whole show.
Yeah, I think that just makes more sense now that we're at the end, It was my favorite season. I definitely would like to see another season. And I wouldn't mind seeing the same actors back.
Especially Eric.
Christopher. Although I know Christopher would not, but Christopher, this may not be. This isn't even Christopher's kind of thing. He didn't really love it anyway, so you cater to us, not him.
Yes.
My favorite scene. It's got to be George's last show. I mean, it was awesome.
Yes.
It was funny. And when he leans over and he's like, "Dear God, woman." Because she did such a bad job at first. That was funny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because she's like, oh.
That was hilarious. All right. You're just going to go with that one? That's fine.
Yeah.
Awesome. Jeff, your score, however you'd like to do it, and your scenes.
Yeah, I was going to do the same thing. I'm going to say 4.5 for the whole series. I enjoyed the heck out of it, and it was a good puzzler. And the fact that there were like 8 or 10 people that were possibles, it was hard to keep track of who could have done something or who couldn't have. And towards the end, they started eliminating people because somebody was in jail when this person died. And then a couple times it wasn't the widow that did the killing. So that threw them off a little bit. And
I like that.
So anyway, I thought there was a lot of good stuff. And these actors, a lot of these actors, like for instance, Viviana, the actress that plays Viviana, is in, I think she's in almost every season.
Yeah, I think so
too. And she plays totally different characters, like one of them, she's like a college student, anyway, and you got to remember too, that goes back to, I think 2016 was season 1. Favorite scene, I'm going to say the final shot we get of Basil when he's laying bloodied on the church floor. And Margaret's skeleton is looking over him with the wedding dress on. I just thought, well, wow, was that karma or what?
I love it. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to echo what you guys said. I'm 4.5 for the season. It is my favorite season. I really loved. I loved the setting. I loved the characters. I loved the actors playing the characters. I really don't fault any of the actors. I really had a blast with them. And I loved the mystery aspect of it. I like the teases that we get, whether it's the magician doing mad, or whether it's actually supernatural. They pulled the right strings along the way, so I'm really impressed. And do another one, please. My favorite scene. Okay, so the ending was my favorite scene, just the whole aspect of it. But it starts with the bride sitting in the front of the church and Basil walking in, and just the way they revealed it and his reaction. What a great job.
You knew, right? Because I knew. We all knew, right?
But that's the
just making sure.
That's the part of it, right? It's turning the the mother around to see that he's not alive, from Psycho kind of thing. So
I was about to say.
Right. So, but it was, and it looked so great. Oh my God, it looked so great. It reminded me of just great 70s horror films when you'd have just a skeleton in a costume, and it would look so scary as a kid. It was great, and his reaction sold it. But then, even though I agree, I was kind of puzzled, like why are they all showing up? But I was really into it, and the fact that they all joined in, and she had already popped his eyes with her thumbs, and
that maid had every reason to be there.
Oh man!
I think honestly, I think more than almost anyone there. I'm like,
one shot when they coming down the street in the carriage, and it's in slow motion, and Basil's just like, I mean, he's not smacking her. He's like, boom.
The perfect opportunity when Verdi would have gotten recruited is when she went to try to leave, and then the maid stopped her and said it's easier to be loved by him than not, and then that's when she could have recruited her.
And we could have got that as a flashback in episode
7. I would love to have seen that. I guess just because I really liked all the characters, and I liked the interplay, and I liked that they were actually secretly working together. I mean, that makes it more exciting. I think it would have been really good to actually see some more of that. And I'm glad that Vivian didn't die. I mean, she's horrible, but
she knew where she was, right? She knew her circumstances. She would rather go to prison than to wrong Basil.
Well, the cruelty of these people in here too. So, like, once Margaret's dead, right? The Botticelli sisters just kick the daughter out.
I know.
They just kick her out on the street, leave. Slam the door. That's it. Not another thought.
It's probably the best thing for her, though, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Well, Basil says, he says this stuff all the time, but one time when he's talking about the wedding, we'll have the wedding first, and then you lose your womanhood between the wedding and the reception. But don't worry, I'm not going to bring bloody sheets down to our guests.
Unless you want me to or something.
Oh my God. No, he was deliciously evil, man. What a great. All right, well, there you go. That's our review of Slasher Ripper. Is streaming now on Shudder. Check it out. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Hopefully we didn't spoil you for this. So watch the show first. All right. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, share with a friend buttons. Let us know that you like what we're doing, and let others know as well. So thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Crystal, Jeff, thanks for joining me. It's a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks,
good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Gruesome Magazine.